What up, what up, what up, world? Welcome to the Get Right Fantasy Network. We're back again doing another recap of the Friday night mocks. We got a 12-team Superflex PPR league. Got Anthony, my boy, here with me.
What up, peoples? We're missing D.
So we're about to do some grading. Yeah, D's got a baby duty today. So,
Yep.
With no further ado, we're going to hit the intro.
Let's do it.
All right, thanks for joining us again. We're doing another recap of a Friday night mocks, a 12-team Superflex PPR. Dustin is out. He's on baby duty tonight. So you got Anthony and myself. And we're going to start right off with the number one pick, PapaConks. Join us again. And he takes Patrick Mahomes. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like to have a running back first. I know that is a Superflex, so you got to go with your wide quarterbacks early and often sometimes in this, and that's what happened to him. He took Patrick Mahomes, but then pretty much forgot about a QB after DeAndre Swift, Eichler, AJ Brown, Etienne, Walker, and then Waller, and then he finally shows up with Jared Goff. I think that's where he messed up a little bit. To me, it's a B- because of that. I like the running backs. I think he attempted a kind of a single QB in the beginning and then kind of waited. But he could have waited for Ben Roethlisberger, some other guy that's better than Goff. But then again, he could blow up over there. I could be wrong. What do you got on him, man?
I was kind of in that same range. I gave him a B. He did, acquire some great talent as far as Mahomes and Swift, Eckler, Brown, Etienne, as his RB3. My only thing, again, which keeps him away from the A, is he didn't really get any running back depth kind of after that. And again, like you said, his QB2 is just a little weak, I think. But I think he can produce. But where he's really lacking is that QB3. Yeah, he may not even be the starter there in Denver. So, I gave it a B overall. Looking at it more, I might even kind of drop it down to a C+. But again, just with that top end talent with Mahomes, you're going to kind of make up with some of that drop off with Goff. He got a high end tight end. So yeah.
Yeah, and team number 2, although it's not showing up on the board, is Kelbell78, who joined us. What do you got on him, man? Go ahead.
Yeah, so for Kelbell, I had him at a C. He does go running back, quarterback, but he does take 2 rookies. So that is tough. Trey Lance may not even be starting to at least start the year. And again, same thing with Justin Fields. Andy Dalton's there in Chicago. So if those guys don't start for half the year, at least he has Jimmy Garoppolo, that he got way down here in the 11th. Yeah, he's going to have 1 quarterback for the whole year. But otherwise, you're really hoping, these other guys are going to produce for you. So I have him at a C. If I want to grade a little harder, I'll probably kind of put him down there at a C-. Again, just because that kind of scares me in a super flex with those quarterbacks.
Hey, well, I'm going to tell the people, I'm going to be honest tonight. I have been drinking. It is Cinco de Mayo. I got my Cinco de Drinko shirt on here. And I even started through this podcast here. But Kelbell78, C- on my book. Again, like you mentioned, Trey Lance may not even start. He did back it up with Jimmy G way later. But Justin Fields is another guy who may or may not start. So starting 2 rookies or picking up with 2 rookies, as we know, they make mistakes and whatnot. So, there's going to be interceptions and things that happen to those guys, even if they do start. So they're not going to be, top quarterbacks that you want there. I think he took them a little bit too early. Kyle Pitts, on the other hand, is probably his best pick that he took and where he took him at. I think that was a good spot to take him at. And that, but I mean, overall, C- just because of the QBs. Everything else is pretty solid. And we'll move on to our third guy, NYG guy 95. And he's a returning guy. He's been here quite a few times.
One of the OGs.
One of the OGs, exactly. Started with Saquon as his first pick. Third pick, Saquon Barkley.
Finally got him.
True to his team. He's going to take his guy. which you can't hate on him. I do like Najee Harris in the third. I think he's going to be a top running back in this league. I love what he's doing with his community, giving back to the homeless shelter that he did, that where he lived at when he was, his family was there. Literally just already giving back to the community before he's even in the NFL. Super good guy. So on my book, he's an A+ right there. But then kind of goes down to Zach Wilson, which I'm not too thrilled about at that point. I like the wide receivers in Ken Allen, Thielen, and Andrews. I just think probably a saving grace was Fitzpatrick later. Honestly, but Michael Gallup at his last pick is really nice also.
Yeah. So would you give that overall as far as a grade?
A B on that one.
I'm a little on the other side of the spectrum with you there. I give my NYG guy here shout out. I give him a A+, my first A+ of the draft, and hear me out.
Right.
Obviously he goes with Barkley, big in PPR. Najee Harris, I think, going to be a 3-down back there as well. Gaskins kind of survived the draft, and it looks like he has a chance to be the RB1 there as well. And I'm actually complete opposite with you as far as Zach Wilson. I think the Jets, picked him up. I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. You see what happens when these rookie quarterbacks come in. Their defense isn't great. They're still building. They had the #1 pick for a reason. So there's going to be a lot of garbage time throwing that's going on there, and they're going to develop them. So I think, as far as fantasy output, there's, chances there where he can produce as your QB2. And again, if not, like Frank said, you have Fitzpatrick there. So it might be one of those things where you might actually start Fitzpatrick in the first couple weeks, kind of see how Zach Wilson turns out. And, maybe by the bye weeks, or towards the end of the season, you can see how it plays out with Wilson. So, like you said, everything else is solid. Receivers, tight end, backups, all good names, tradable, good assets, which is why I give it an A+.
Yeah. I'm still at a B though. Yeah. Who do we got? Oh, so team 4, we got Ollie 1974.
New
I'll
drafter.
start off on this guy. He took McCaffrey. I mean, wow, you can take a McCaffrey with your 4th pick. What luck, right? So you're starting off solid. Then you go to Stafford, and then Kelsey. I'm not a fan of taking a tight end like this early. I know he's a wide receiver 1, basically. I'm still just not a fan of it. Regardless of that, moving on to Jacobs and Jones here. Jacobs could be in a timeshare now. We'll see what happens. Jones is deteriorating. He's going down the drain. It just the rest of the team just kind of flounders. Cam Newton way late. I gave him a C. Just the QB2 is weak. The wide receivers is just kind of weak. Just overall, that's a C.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I gave him a C-. I'm worse there, and when I think about it, I kind of almost want to drop it down to a D+ as well. And that's just because of the fact that, again, he only got 2 quarterbacks in a super flex, and his QB2 down here in the 12th with Cam Newton. He may not even start the whole year with Mac Jones breathing down his back. So
yeah.
And again,
literally Mac Jones was drafted earlier than Cam Newton.
Exactly. And then you got, Todd Gurley here as his RB3. He's not even signed on a team. So actually, kind of the more I look at this, I guess I was trying to be nice just because of McCaffrey and Kelsey and, Julio Jones and Lockett, that I liked. But now, and actually Rashad Bateman, I really like in the 13th there with Baltimore. I'm sure we'll get into that more. But overall, actually, I'm probably just going to go ahead and give this an F.
An F even? Wow, I was being that with the C.
This is a bad draft. Yeah, no, this was a bad
draft. You could
probably
move it down to a D. Honestly, it's solid because of just Cam Newton way late like that. But Bateman, some of these guys that he did pick up, it's still.
I changed it to an F. I officially changed to an F.
So moving on to Dem Boys, DC4L for life. What do you got, Anthony?
Shout out to Dem Boys. I mean, this guy, he watches the show. He subscribes to the show. He talks to us. He's, asking us, advice on trades and stuff like that. So we really appreciate that, man. Anybody else who has any of those type of questions, definitely let us know. Go to our website, getrightff.com. You know, our rankings will be up there, and you know, you can hit the chat and send us a message and you know, let us know. But I said all that to say I have another A+ draft here.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I knew you were gonna give him a lot of love.
hey, you know, he knows what we like. You know, he knows, you know, he watches, you know, our show. He knows what we like. He knows what we're looking for in these drafts. You know, he knows how to suck up and get that A+ from us at this point. So obviously he's going to QBs right away with Allen and Rogers. Whether he's playing in Green Bay or Denver or wherever it is, he's still going to
Or Oakland,
produce.
possibly.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to want to stick it to
Denver more
Green
than
Bay no
likely.
matter what. Yeah, so then he goes, you know, hammers 3 running backs back to back, Zeke, CEH, and Mostert. I'm not going to argue with any of that.
I
Two
don't like CEH and Mustard, but that's okay.
in a PPR as your RB2, I think it's perfect. You're getting great
Yeah.
value in the 4th round of a super flex there. Again, look who he has around him. You know, Jacobs and Gaskins and ETN and Williams are going after him. So you know, uh, he's on the #1 producing, you know, offense there. So to me, that's a fantastic RB2. You know, he's not the RB1 that was being drafted, you know, 4th overall last year, like someone I know. But getting him in the 4th is, you know, it's definitely a lot, you know, more
Yeah.
production. So
Yeah.
anyway, moving on. His wide receiving core is fantastic with Godwin and Lamb. You know, high opportunities for targets and production there. QB3 with Jameis Winston. We all know I love Jameis Winston. So, you know, again, just sucking up to us here. Cortland Sutton. Again, if Rogers goes over there to Denver, you know, he has that pairing going on.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
with
only
that
gonna make
stack, he handcuffs Pollard, you know, Elliott with Pollard. He knows we love Fant here, you know, getting him down here in the 11th, you know, getting great tight end value. And then, you know, some nice PPR potential candidates here, Robbie Anderson in the 12th and Marshall in the 13th, you know, taking a little lotto ticket there. So
Yeah,
I
see,
like this team. It's a good
yeah,
team.
I know you did. I'm still at a B+ on it. I'm not too thrilled about the running backs. Again, as I mentioned, CEH and Mostert. Mostert could be the RB is honestly RB2. I like the wide receivers, but you know, Jameis Winston was almost like you really didn't need him. He could have went for a better tight end, I think, at that point. I know that
Oh,
you
no
like
way.
Noah Fant, and I think that Noah Fant will be even ranked even higher if Rodgers does go to Denver. But I'm not sold on Noah Fant to this point, and unless Rodgers is actually there, you're not going to sell me on Noah Fant. He didn't do much last year, and I don't think he's that great in PPR. So you're not selling him that because just because of Noah Fant alone, I give him a B+.
That's all right, then, boys. You know how to do it. Keep drafting, my friend.
Yeah, no.
Stay
Other
thirsty.
than that,
Very nice.
so we
All
got
right.
AwkwardSharkDad, right?
Yep. Starting to
Yeah,
become a new show regular here, a new
exactly.
drafter.
Another
So
regular
shout
here,
out. Yep.
which kind of gives the consistency to it because everybody kind of starts realizing who likes who. You know, you got NYG guy trying to take Barkley. You know, you got Dem Boys trying to take Elliott. So you got some of those guys taking their team player guys. So you know, sometimes that helps during the draft. So you know that so and so is going to take this guy. So you could already start looking at somebody else so that you don't have to actually fight for that one guy that guy is trying to take. Or you know, obviously you try to take him if you're drafting before him. With
Mm-hmm.
that being said, you know, he started off with Kyler Murray, then Aaron Jones, then Matt Ryan, and then David Montgomery. I like that whole strategy of going 2 QB, 2 RB in the first 4 picks. You know, however you take it, I think it just sets up your team perfectly. But that's where he loses me with George Kittle, which is again is a very high tight end. But I would rather have taken a wide receiver there. But he still ends up very decent, very good wide receiver, Cal Ridley and Terry McLaurin, scary Terry there.
Scary.
Scary Terry. You know, David Carr, I think I could do with or without him at that point because I think he's got 2 good stud wide receivers. He didn't really need to get that guy that early. He could have waited a little bit longer for another wide receiver. But Claypool, Madison still finishing out. Hubbard down low here and then finishing it off with Debo Samuels. I give him a B+ on this.
Nice. I'm kind of right
Close
there.
to an A even.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm leaning A- for my guy Awkward Shark Dad here. Very solid you know, QB running back core. Like you said, obviously I'm opposite as far as tight end. If you are going to take one, that's one of the three that you want,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
four now, when including Pitts. And again, considering he's your wide receiver one, if you want to say, having Ridley and McLaurin as your twos are perfect. And, you get that QB3 in Derek Carr. I think that's fine. Nice backups in Claypool. I really like Pittman. I like Samuel. So I give him the A minus. Has the depth, has the names, and very well constructed team.
yeah, for sure. And then we got gkohan. I'll let you take the lead on that.
Yeah, gkohan or something like that. I like it. Help us out on the pronunciation. So my guy here tried to go with a zero QB strategy in a super flex. I really like when at least somebody does try that. It just lets us know, kind of, in this case, not too bad how it turns out, but it just kind of shows you how weak your team kind of, turns out if you try to go zero QB, especially if everybody else is drafted, two QBs in the first, 4 to 5 rounds.
Yeah, there's not much left after that.
Exactly. So, but again, with all that said, my guy still pulled out Carson Wentz, Tua Tagovailoa, and Kirk Cousins. So, if you would have told me, he wasn't going to take a quarterback in the first 4 rounds and still ended up with those 3 quarterbacks, that's actually a pretty good, situation. Great, running backs, great wide receivers, has good depth. So overall, I gave him a A minus. I mean, as far as a zero QB strategy, I think he pulled it off.
I'm at a C, and I'll tell you why. I'm really not enthralled with Carson Wentz. Obviously, you get moved to Indy. Who knows what'll happen there? I do like Tua and Kirk Cousins. However, just taking Jared Cook as the last pick for a tight end was really, really weak. He could have went with somebody else a lot sooner. And got some help in that position. But, a lot of people don't value him that much. But as far as I'm concerned, just the attempt was great. I think Kamara, Hill, Diggs, and Sanders was a solid start. But I think that's going to affect you because quarterbacks do score so much. And having 2 quarterbacks that are not performing as well as the other ones that are taken in the first 4 rounds is going to hurt you. You got to take at least one QB in the first 4 rounds on this. I personally feel, but I mean, if you're going to pull it off, that's what you're going to do. But I still, to me, it's to see the tight end just too weak, too late, and those quarterbacks got me scared.
Frankie's the QB whisperer or the tight end whisperer, man. Yeah, he wants you to have a strong tight end over here. As you know, for me, I don't care. To me, that's like a throwaway spot. If you can get 4 or 5 points out of that spot, then great. I'm going to get my value out of my other positions and make up for that little bit of tight end deficiency with, trades and things like that, And so, again, that's how I construct my teams to, put trades in. Frankie drafts teams more to kind of stay through the whole year. So, again, these are just the different type of strategies that you're looking for. And again, this is how and why you're getting the different types of grades because it's different viewpoints. So that's how we're going to help you out.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to Wilson 27 here, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'll start off on this one with Derrick Henry, solid first pick. Joe Burrow, I like it. DeAndre Hopkins, you're getting somewhere with that guy as well. James Robinson, now he's the first guy that's in a RBVC now. Ben Roethlisberger coming up, Mike Evans, Kelly Galladay. I like this team, honestly. And other than being kind of weak on the running back, because I think that from there on, everybody else is basically a running back by committee with Robinson, Fournette, and David Johnson. Because of that, I gave him a B.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. At first glance, I was kind of leaning towards B plus, just because I do like, the top end talent that he has, and he does have some good depth. A little worried about, Joe Burrow. And again, now that I'm kind of dissecting it a little more, I think I'm probably closer to the B minus range. Just because again, I don't know if Joe Burrow is gonna, be there. the start of the season. You know, he may not really be coming along until week, 3, 4, really hitting his stride.
Hmm.
And you know, again, we don't know when Mac Jones is going to play either. So
Yeah.
having him as a QB3 is a little, a little tough. So if Cam's balling out, and again, Joe Burrow's not there, you may not even have two quarterbacks to start week 1
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this scenario. So again, like I'm saying, now that I'm looking at it a little more closely, not that we didn't look at it, closely before, but now that we actually have somebody to talk to about it, and I'm not just, talking in my own head,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely leaning, more towards that B minus C plus range. But
Yeah.
I love that Henry Hopkins, and that Burrow and Roethlisberger. That's just, heavy passing attempts and yardage and potential touchdowns. So, that's kind of what had me cited in the beginning, but it could be really trouble early on with this
Yeah.
specific team. So
That's why
we'll see.
I'm still at a B. I'm still at a B.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
hey,
moving
so
on.
not to start with you with yourself. So I figured I'll run through your team first.
There you go.
If you graded yourself, I think it's kind of hard to be objective sometimes. And with that being said, we're gonna run it down real quick. Nick Chubb, first pick, going off with the running back. Russell Wilson, Tom Brady. So and then you end up with Chris Carson. So there's your four picks, being two wide receivers, two running backs, two quarterbacks, right? That's kind of it doesn't matter how they fall, as long as you get in the first four, that seems to be a sturdy beginning point, like starting point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got Michael Thomas, Devin Singletary, Cooper Kupp,
Well, let me
Dre.
stop you there. This is when, and again, shout out to everybody that was helping us out. Last Friday, we tried to do our first live stream and obviously didn't work very well, which is why we're doing this recap video to actually give out the grades. But really appreciate you guys, letting us know how it was working or not working. As that was all going on, and I was dealing with the stream, I went on an auto draft here for the next 3 rounds. With Singletary, Kupp, and Drake. I didn't pick again until Gronk, and I did finish out my picks there. But those 3 picks were auto picks as I was having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But even still, that's why I think I was on a good start.
Honestly, they weren't that bad.
Yeah, it still was decent.
Gave
but...
you a pretty good grade because where you ended up, Gronk with that late. I think it was the perfect time to take him. He's the kind of guy he's valued at and where you're taking him is awesome. I just still think you're a little bit weak on my receiver because who knows who's going to be thrown to, Thomas and how they're fair, and as well as Drake and things like that. Not Drake, I mean Kupp. Let's see how it works out with Matthew Stafford over there now. But I give you overall a B plus, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because I started out solid. I gave myself a C plus just because I expect better out of myself. If I would have been in there. But again, the show comes first, and I was trying to make it, better for you guys and everyone helping out. But again, I'll step my game up, guys. Don't worry. Just trying to throw you guys for a loop here. Can't tell you all my secrets.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're giving out all the playbook and putting out everybody that we're liking or not liking. And so, regardless, that's not an excuse. You still got to draft. You got to take your best available or how you have your stream constructed to set yourself up properly, because that's what's happening in every draft, right? Everybody's, got some knowledge, or at least you think you do, right? So I'll let you
take it's good to get that practice in, because if something like that happens, it teaches you to have your queue set up, have these things in place, because you never know when something's going to happen during your real draft. And that might, you might get stuck with Singletary, Kupp, and Drake.
Yeah. So I'll let you, shoot it off with the N and Y guy here.
Yeah, and we found out it's actually pronounced knee.
Knee.
So it's our guy here, knee. I got my guy here with a B plus. Very solid draft. Starting off with Dak Prescott, Devontae Adams. Love his running backs with Gibson. Starting to come around on Mixon a little bit here. Think they're just going to feed him the ball here, and kind of really good reports there. That basically, I heard that they don't even want him to come off the field. They traded away Gio Bernard. His only backup is Samaje Perine. And I'm mainly saying this because Dustin's not here to rub it in my face. So I'll wait until he actually watches this to admit my love growing here for Mixon.
I'll believe it when I see it. I'm
But I
not
was
sold on
right
Joe
on
Budden
him
Mixon.
last year. I
I'll call
was
it
right
Joe
on him
Budden
last year.
Mixon. Nah,
Yeah.
Gio comes in and just outperforms it, and then he falls flat because he's only good for so long. But Mixon is going to probably get hurt, and you're going to be sad you took him.
Nice. So he ended up going with Darnold here again. Carolina saying they have, all the faith in Darnold. They didn't take a quarterback in the draft. So that shows you the confidence they have in him. Again, to me, it's like show me with him first, and we'll see,
Exactly. He
what
couldn't
he
do it in
does
New
there.
York.
I mean, he has Christian McCaffrey, so really just dump it off to him. Your averages are going to be pretty good. He'll do the rest. Yeah. So then his wide receiver 2 in Amari Cooper here follows it up with a wide receiver 3 in Odell Beckham. We know what the potential ceiling is, when he's healthy and part of an offense. Again, but at the, you're not taking him in the first round anymore. So I think getting him down here as your wide receiver 3 is great. Gets his QB3 Daniel Jones. That's not bad either. He's going to have the volume, has good weapons around him. Dustin's big on Zach Moss.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks is technically the wide receiver 1 there. They're still a professional team. They're going to still produce there in Houston. Again, I love Irv Smith. That. So overall, I give him a B+, and that's just because, don't waste these last picks. Make the most out of them. So
yeah. And because of that, that's why I went with the C. I don't like Sam Darnold. That's why he went over to Carolina. I think you make a good point with Christian McCaffrey is going to bail him out a lot, but at the end of the day, it may not be enough. I like Cooper where he took him, backing up Devontae Adams. And at this point, it's one of the things I want to mention about Devontae Adams. Who's going to be throwing the ball to him? I think he's going to have a big regression. He's going to be moving down in my rankings because of that, because Aaron Rodgers is not likely to be returning. And you're going to have a rookie quarterback throwing to you. You got to figure out the chemistry. As good as he is, there's going to be a big regression. So moving on to Mernsdorf.
Mernsdorf, something like that. Appreciate you coming out. I think he's drafted with us before. Comes out. Yeah, he comes out with getting his 2 running backs and 2 quarterbacks in the first 4 picks. He puts a lot of trust here in some rookie quarterbacks that I'm not too fond of. Receiving core is very solid. Running backs are solid. Love the Mike Davis as the RB3 pick there, down in the 8th. He kind of saves it here with Teddy Bridgewater, just kind of depending on what those other 2 quarterbacks do. And don't get me wrong, I think, of the, kind of rookie second year guys, these guys aren't, great, but it wasn't like he was kind of forced to do that. There's plenty of guys that were, still available there that I think he could have taken, there, especially instead of Trevor Lawrence getting Russell Wilson, plenty of other guys there. So anyway, overall, I give him a B+, just because, everything is solid. And if those, guys do produce, you've seen what Hurts has done. He's put up, 20, 30-point games. And, if Trevor Lawrence is who they say he is, he could have a very nice team here.
I'll agree with you on that. If Trevor Lawrence is who they say he is, that's going to be, if he's a Lex Patrick Mahomes, let's call him, and he gets the points up like
Andrew
that.
Luck. More like Andrew Luck, they're saying.
Okay, looking at Andrew Luck, fine. But he has to be there. You know what I mean? I'm not fond of taking a rookie QB as my first pick. Go ahead if you're comfortable with that. Not my choice. I would rather have, like you're saying, a Russell Wilson, a Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow there in that spot. Then I could take him as the second pick. I'd feel more comfortable that way. However, Jalen Hurts, I even had him last year. He was playing solid. I disagree with you with Teddy Bridgewater, because we were just talking about Aaron Rodgers maybe moving over to Denver. So that means Teddy Bridgewater is a nothing pickup. So might as well stay away from Teddy Bridgewater and or Drew Lock that are over in Denver. I think either one of them are trash. I wouldn't go for either one of those quarterbacks. So that's a wasted pick in my mind. And Tyler Higbee that late, that's just too weak of a tight end as far as I'm concerned. So that's why you ended up with the C in my book. I love the wide receivers though. Justin Jefferson, Robinson, and DJ Moore. Love the wide receivers. Love the tight ends. Just weak on quarterback and tight end. And we got the last guy, exaJeet.
exaJeet, yeah.
So this guy went right off the bat. 2 quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. I mean, wow. You know what I mean? Like I mean, if you got the last pick, you might as well, take your guys right off the bat because they're not going to come back around to you anyways. So you
Yeah,
got
no,
to,
he set the tone for the draft right there on the turn. As soon
yeah,
as
yeah,
he took 2 quarterbacks, everyone was like, "Oh, we got to grab him now."
yeah. You got to shoot for him, right? So then he goes J.K. Dobbins and Baker Mayfield. Wah, 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 wah. That's where he failed in his draft. Why even bother taking a third QB that early after you already have Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert? What are you thinking? You should take another running back or wide receiver at that point. But he does end up with Kareem Hunt, with and
Decent in a PPR.
yeah, Sermon, Robert Trees over here, and then you got Deshaun Watson. And again, what are you doing? That guy may not even play this year. Overall, I just give him a D because of Baker Mayfield and taking Deshaun Watson. His team could have been so much better. He started off on the right foot and then immediately triple over Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson. Why even bother? And, I don't even want to talk about the rest of this team. It could have just been so much better.
Yeah, I'm there kind of at a C plus is where I'm at. Just because again, if Deshaun Watson does play, and Baker Mayfield has a decent year, he could easily trade and get a quarterback or get a running back in that same level. If you just look at everybody else that's there in that round, is a quarterback going to outproduce all these wide receivers and running backs that were taken here? And if he wasn't comfortable with any of these guys that were kind of available and was comfortable with Kareem Hunt being his RB2, again, the way I play fantasy football, because I am involved in trades and I do like doing that. I have no problem taking a third quarterback that high. But again, it is because you're going to have to trade. And, getting Deshaun Watson a fourth quarterback, as you guys know, I really like doing that as well. And in my real league, I'm probably going to really do that. Just because, again, I like being able to trade off that
you're going to pick up 4 better quarterbacks. I mean, you're right. Baker Mayfield could be somebody, and the Browns are doing really well. But again, Deshaun Watson.
When it's week 7 and somebody has no quarterback to start,
and by
they're
week
gonna
7
wish
comes
they
around,
had.
It's going to be like 2 and 5.
You're gonna wish you had a quarterback
it won't matter.
to
It won't
start
matter
that
at
week.
that point. He won't be able to save his season at 2 and 5.
No, I'm saying another team. If another team has no quarterback and he's starting Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert, he doesn't give a shit. He has Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson sitting on his bench.
But he's got
if he ends up playing, or let's
Robert Woods. Robert Woods is a decent number 1, but
you can pick whoever you want for Baker Mayfield. You can get whatever receiver you want for a quarterback in a Superflex league, dude. Like it's like gold. It's like having a running back one.
Doesn't always happen.
Does it will. Look at Dak Prescott. Look at Joe Burrow. All these guys got hurt last year. Tyrod Taylor, with Justin Herbert coming in. Do these things happen? And people are scrounging to pick up quarterbacks off the waiver wire because you need to start a quarterback. So it believe me, exaJeet, you did right. Don't listen to this guy. You got it.
That's a D.
If you're all right, man. Well, exaJeet, we have the differing opinions. This is why you guys watch. We're not going to just agree on everything. We're going to tell you how we feel. So, this is just how we feel and, where we're at. So, again, we appreciate everybody coming out for Friday Night Mocks. Stay tuned for the next one. And we'll keep doing our grades and keep joining us here. Keep an eye out for the Listener League as well. So other than that, we can roll the sleeves down and we're out.
Peace out.